Yes, boss. Let's do it, man. So here's the deal. You see the topic. Never make choices in life when you're in a state of desperation. If you never heard of that before, I'm going to make it real easy for you, right? So here's the deal. When you're in a state of desperation or you're desperate, you're in need at the time. You get what I'm saying? And sometimes what some people don't know is when you're desperate, you could be in a state where your judgment gets clouded by who? Your emotions. You feel me? So here's the deal. I'll give you an example. Let's say you found yourself in a sticky situation, right? And instead of you thinking clearly because you're desperate at the time, you need to hurry up and make a decision. And sometimes when you're not thinking clearly, you can make a decision that can impact you in your future. You get what I'm saying? And this is in whatever realm it is, right? But you have to understand that when you're in a state of desperation, your judges can get impaired easily. Your judgment can get impaired easily by your emotions. Because why? You're in a state of feeling where you don't want to be, or you just want to hurry up and get out of that mode that you're in. So it's like you fall into that realm. You get what I'm saying? Where your judgment is impaired, right? As well as that, when you're in that state, you have more of like a limited kind of say like a limited perspective, where you're not really thinking things all the way through because of the fact that you're in that state of where, I'm desperate, I need to hurry up and make a move, or I need to hurry up and make a decision. So it's like you feel like the walls are closing in. I don't see another option. Sometimes you have to slow it down, think it through, and breathe on it. You get what I'm saying? Just pray about it sometimes, because sometimes you can get into a situation as to where you may fall on hard times, or your back is against the wall. You got to hurry up and make a decision. And sometimes, I'm going to be real with you, I'm one of those people, I don't like to feel rushed or pressured into doing anything, because it's like it's going to impair my judgment. You get what I'm saying? I don't want to feel like I don't have any options or the ball isn't in my court. So there are options in life. You just have to understand that when you're in a state of desperation, not only can your emotions take over and impair your judgment, but your perspective can become limited because you feel like, I'm in a state of desperation. I don't see other options. Sometimes you have to take a step back and think it through, so your judgment isn't more clouded. You can give yourself a better option, like a better thinking option. You get what I'm saying? Next thing. When you're in a state of desperation, your risk taking is increased. So I'm going to give you an example. Let's say, matter of fact, I'm going to use me for this one. This is perfect. When I was younger, I'd say probably about like 23, 24, I lost my job. It was a decent job. They were paying me money. It wasn't a career. It was a sales job. When they fired me, this was at a time when I had an apartment, I had car payments, all of that stuff. If you listen to me, this is the time when I said, I had to move back home with my mom. When this happened to me, I was in a state of desperation. I was taking some risks. So what I would do is, I'd take a little extra money that I had, that my cousin taught me at the time how to play blackjack. Little extra money I had on the side, I'd take some risks by going to the casino. I'm going to play blackjack. I'd win some days and then I would lose some. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, because I was in a state of desperation to pay my bills, to figure things out, figure out what the next move was going to be. I was taking risks that wasn't really calculated. I could have ended up getting a gambling addiction. You get what I'm saying? It may sound small to you, but just think about it. From you getting into one situation, either you lost your job or you face some problems, you can in terms take some risks that weren't even necessary and put yourself in a deeper hole. You get what I'm saying? These are how, like I said, how addicts are created with gambling and things like that. Because I was hitting some days, I was like, I wonder if I should go back there. No, I already came up with what it is that I needed to. I got lucky, but at the same time, I had to think about it. A lot of my risk taking, it's starting to heighten because why? I needed money at that time. I got bills to pay, you feel me? And nobody's not hiring me right now in another sales job. So that increased me taking risks, you feel me? Another thing as well, when you're in a state of desperation where you never make choices in that state, sometimes you can end up with a lot of regret and resentment. You get what I'm saying? Because of the choices that you made in that small amount of time, when you get out of that situation, sometimes you could think back like, damn, bro, I have a lot of regrets in my life. So I'm gonna give you an example, right? Let's say, matter of fact, I'm gonna use a regular scenario, right? Let's say a girl falls on hard times, right? And she's like, yo, I need to find a way how to make some money, right? So she resorts to doing something that's temporary just to get that fixed. So let's say she starts selling her body, or she starts stripping, right? If she starts getting into that role or in that world, she can stay in that world and she can stay there forever, like as in pick up bad habits. You just did this because you needed the money, and now you're a part of the lifestyle now. Regrets and resentment, meaning like, yo, let's say you were doing that because it's paying you money right now, and you end up picking up like a STD or doing something that you weren't supposed to. That's something that can lead to a lot of regret and resentment. Because why? In that small space of time when you were desperate, you needed to make a decision. You did something that wasn't for your best, but it was temporary. In that time frame, you ended up with something that either cost you more in the future, cost you at that time. You get what I'm saying? You have to understand this. When you're in a state of desperation, I don't care who you are, if you're not thinking clearly, or you're not in the right mindset or the right headspace, you can make a decision that can cause you a lot of regret and resentment later on in life. I'll give you another example, right? Everybody knows this. My mother passed away, 4 months ago, right? It was a choice of mine. I never had to go see my mother. I never had to go visit her at the hospital, right? And it wasn't saying it was in a state of desperation. It's just the regret and resentment part, right? Because sometimes some people don't see that regret and resentment. It can come out of nowhere in different ways. Yes, me and my mom were on bad terms. I hashed things out with her, so I found peace in the situation. If I would have never done that, I would have lived to regret that. Because why? I never got a chance to say a final goodbye, despite the fact of how my mom made me feel from a child coming up. You get what I'm saying? I'll put all of that to the side, and I don't have any regrets. I don't have any resentment. In that little small space of time when I could have been like, oh, she's in the hospital, I don't have to see her. Times I'd get up out of my bed before I go to work, graveyard shift. I'm sacrificing sleep to go to the hospital and spend some time with my mother. From me doing that, I actually seen the blessing behind it. I don't have something on my conscience like, man, I didn't go spend enough time with her. Oh, I didn't say sorry to her. I told my mom everything in the world, but I just kept it real. You get what I'm saying? And my mom told me back in advance, yo, I love you. Because in that small space of time, you never know what a person is feeling. We can do all types of things in the world, but we never may understand how it affects the next person, or after, the doors are closed and at the end of the day, how it really affects us. You get what I'm saying? I could have been out here living like, yo, I don't care, my mom died, it is what it is. Yeah, I'm over the situation now, but I have peace in it to the point where I don't have any regrets and I don't have any resentment. Because why? I made a decision that was for a best or a bigger benefit. You get what I'm saying? If that relates or means anything to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Another one, when you make choices out of being desperate, you're going to miss out on opportunities. So I'm going to give you an example on that. You ever heard some people say, be patient in life or wait? Reason being is, if you make choices out of desperations or out of certain feelings and you don't really wait, you don't really give yourself all the options that are really needed to help you out in life. You get what I'm saying? So I'm going to give you an example. I remember a time when, not the last job I told you about, but there was a job that I worked at when I was younger. They let me go. And I'm like, yo, I need to hurry up and find me another job. What I did was, out of desperation, not really thinking, I jumped on the first job that made me an offer. I never really sat back and waited. You get what I'm saying? If I would have waited a little bit longer, there was a company who was going to hire me that would have paid me more money. You get what I'm saying? So in that state of me being desperate, I took what option I had available, but I never really weighed things out. You get what I'm saying? And sometimes that can cause you to miss opportunities in life, because once again, you're making decisions out of desperation, out of emotions. So that's going to cause you certain things in the back end. Regret. You're going to increase your risk taking. You're going to miss out on opportunities. You have to understand these things. That's why it's important in life to be patient. stack up and save for the rainy days. Just play your cards right so you don't have to end up in a state of desperation, if you get what I mean by that, right? Now, here's the thing. When you make these decisions, this is another one, right? You're reinforcing negative patterns, right? So let's say you might have made a negative choice or a desperate choice, right? Or a bad choice, right? And you fall back into that state again, where you fall back into that state of being desperate. If you didn't learn the first time, you could pick up more negative patterns and continue making more bad choices or more choices out of being desperate instead of thinking clearly. You get what I'm saying? And this is something that's in human nature. Anybody can make a choice out of being desperate or not really thinking things clearly or thinking things through. It's because of how you may feel at the time. You get what I'm saying? And I'm going to tell you, and I could give you myself as an example again. When I was working for my last city job, there was plenty of times I was going to quit that job because why? I don't like my crew leader. I don't like how management handles certain things. And guess what? I'm glad I stuck it through because that's how I found the career that I'm at now. You get what I'm saying? Instead of me doing something in like an ill-advised way, okay, I'm desperate right now or I'm feeling some way, let me just hurry up and leave you guys. Because I know I'm qualified. I could go to another city and I could get another job easily. I've worked different positions in the city, so that's not a problem. But from me thinking about it, if I would have acted in that state of desperation, that would have been me continuing the negative patterns or things that I learned from when I was younger to not do. It's just I had to thug it out in that moment and find my little piece until I could get up out of there. You get what I'm saying? And another thing as well as that, lastly, making choices out of desperation and not thinking clearly, you can impact relationships with people. Give you a small example real fast, right? Let's say you're down on hard times and you need some money, like $100 or $50 or whatever, right? You may be the type of person, I don't like to ask people for anything. So you probably made a decision because you were desperate. You probably took from your cousin, took from your mom, took from somebody else, right? And the minute that you did that, it's going to cause a problem. Because why? Instead of you doing things the right way, being upstanding, or let me ask for this instead of taking, you can impact a relationship where instead of you doing something the right way, you and in terms did it a wrong way. Let me steal from you. Let me take from you. Let me not ask you correctly. There's little things that people do in a state of desperation where they don't think things through and they impact other people. You get what I'm saying? So you have to understand this. Never in life make choices when you're in a state of desperation, because those are some of the worst decisions that you will ever make in life, especially if you don't take a step back and think a little bit deeper. You get what I'm saying? Riding on your emotions, making choices when you're desperate, that's damn near the same thing, and they're both dangerous. You never want to do that. You feel me? That being said, remember this. Words can help you. They can hurt you. But here on my channel, I use them to uplift you because everybody's a champion. Nobody's a loser, man. It's your boy 444 The World, man. Peace.